Hello, welcome to our Campus Series presentation today. This presentation is about helping classmates, and we're going to talk about safe bystander behavior today. My name is Emma Ceballos, and I'm the Director of Prevention and Education at Peace House. And this collaboration is with the Park City School District. I will be sharing my screen now. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead and start. So, what do we do here at Peace House? We are an organization that helps survivors of interpersonal violence. We provide counseling, prevention, and education. That's the program that I oversee. We have legal advocacy. We have a helpline that is available 24/7. We also have a shelter that has emergency housing, and we also provide transitional housing. We serve everyone, men, women, and also children. Um, we are launching our children's services program. This is our newest program. We also have a hospital response team, a sexual assault team that serves Summit County. We're just here in the community. We serve Summit and Wasatch County, and all of our services are in English and Spanish. Some norms that I always like to have in all of these presentations when we talk about triggering topics such as domestic violence and sexual assault and interpersonal violence is that this is a safe space. Everything that I share, please share with your communities. The more we spread the word, the best. I'm also a mandatory reporter. We all are mandatory reporters in the state of Utah. If you suspect or know of abuse or neglect of a child, you have to report it to DCFS or the police. Um, Also, we have the confidentiality. We just want to make sure that everything that we sharing this space stays in the space. But then again, everything that I share, you're welcome to share with your communities. This presentation is being recorded. And self care at any time, at any point, if you feel like you need to stop the recording and take a break, feel free to do so. This is why it's online. That way you can watch it in. Uh, not all at once if you don't feel ready for that. Maybe you need a little break and then come back to the recording. Feel free to do that. And you can always revisit that content. We're going to talk about such an important topic right now. There's a really big emphasis in bullying prevention in the schools. Unfortunately, this is a big concern that is going on in the school systems, right? And we just want to make sure that as a community we stand against bullying. How we respond is extremely important, right? We just want to make sure that our response is that we all as community members say no, no to bullying. We just want to make sure that we speak about it, right? That if we see it, we call it out, and we're going to touch about how to do bystander intervention. This presentation is our audience are high school students and parents or anyone that is sees themselves as a trusted adult that interacts with children and community members, right? We just want to make sure that we are able to talk about this and empower everyone in the community to call it out and speak about it. We all have a role to play in prevention and also in bullying prevention. So, what can we do as a community? This is a big conversation, right? We need to unite. It is important to amplify the unified message that no one deserves to be bullied and all students deserve to feel safe and supported, and to inspire everyone to act with kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. We need to also raise awareness. Talking about bullying prevention helps build understanding. All schools, organizations, and communities are encouraged to widely share and post information about how to prevent bullying in our communities, in their communities, and our communities, right? We want to be known as spaces that are free of violence, um, healthy places, right? Where everyone is accepted and treated with kindness and inclusion. This is so important for all humans to thrive and also for our youth, right? And this is what we can do as a community. We want to learn, right? We want to make sure that we learn and we're listening. There's a lot of resources are there. There's websites, there's app toolkits. We also want to take actions. Actions is taking action is super important. We want to make sure that we do something as a community, right? A couple of examples is to create bookmarks, promotional items. We can do a unity day or run, walk or roll against events. So there's multiple things that can be done to prevent bullying as when we're looking at taking action specifically. Or even like you can start a social justice club at your school. At the Park City High School, we have our Teen Talk Club, and we're looking to expand at Wasatch High School hopefully next year. And yes, and this is part of what we want to do. We want to empower the students and to for them to create campaigns, right? And kind of assess where their school is at and what they need because every community is different and we just want to make sure we are empowering the youth. So what is the power of the bystander and a positive school climate? When students and school staff ignore bullying behavior, they're sending a message that bullying is acceptable or something that cannot be stopped. The way to combat that is by creating a positive environment where inclusion, respect for difference, and trust between students and teachers are of the utmost importance. This type of environment can curb incidents of bullying and give students bystanders the awareness and tools they need to take positive action when bullying occurs. So, right, it is important. And again, reiterating the message that it can be stopped. All of these problems can be stopped. We just need to take action as a community and make sure that we're uniting in our message that no violence is allowed in any of these spaces and we are respectful of each other's difference, right? Um, we're able to work together. We are all different humans with different experiences, but we need to treat each other with kindness and respect. So, what is the power of by the bystander? This is very important. As a bystander, you can change a lot, right? It always takes that first person that stands up against something that is wrong or speaks up. And I know it's hard to do that. It's kind of like practice, right? Some people are very assertive. They're naturally just assertive, and other humans are not. So, we are going to explore how we can be of standards and do something against bullying or if we see some violence in our spaces. Yes, this is super important. Everyone exposed to youth bullying should be aware that the power is only in the hands of the bully if it is allowed. Once the voices of positive bystanders are heard, there is an opportunity for conflict resolution and problem solving as opposed to aggression and bullying. So there's always hope, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, but we just have to take action, right? And make sure that we have parameters in place in our school, in our places, calling out the behavior, having an action plan, and making sure that we are addressing the problem and calling it out. So why is so important to have a positive school climate? School staff has an important role in promoting a positive school environment that fosters inclusion, respect, and pride in academic achievement, as well as introducing nonviolent alternatives to resolving conflicts. School staff trained to instill positive relationships in their students, as well as to manage and diffuse aggression and bullying behaviors, are essential to a school's violence prevention plan. School staff must be especially vigilant to identify the more subtle and covert forms of bullying, relational, such as social bullying, in order to ensure the students feel safe and secure. So, our goal is to make sure that all students feel safe and secure. And we do have the power in our hands. This is so vital. And we're so grateful that the Park City School District has this series, right, where we can address these specific program problems, right? Come up together with an action plan, right? As a community, there's a lot of great resources out there, and we just need to make sure that we are keeping ourselves informed and learning and listening to the students, right, to see what their needs are. Here's a video that I'm gonna play on how to stop bullying, and there's some examples here. Wonderful. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about this, right? This kind of like showcases what happens when someone goes through bullying and how impactful it can be, right? And how it affects the youth. It's a very hard experience to go through bullying. So, how big is the problem? We want to kind of look at the data, right? Bullying is a widespread issue in the United States. Bullying negatively impacts all youth involved, including those who are bullied, those who bully others, and those who witness bullying, known as bystanders. Bullying is common. About 1 in 5 high school students reported being bullied on school property. More than 1 in 6 high school students reported being bullied electronically in the last year. So we're looking at how now the bullying is spreading to actually be electronically, right? Through social media. Um, so yes, there is, social media can open up the doors to those things. So we just want to be mindful of that, right? That the bullying and the harassment can happen that way as well. Some youth are experiencing bullying more than others. Nearly 40% of high school students who identified as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, and 33% of those who were not sure of their sexual identity experienced bullying at their school or electronically in the last year, compared to 22% of heterosexual high school students. About 30% of high school students experience bullying at school or electronically in the last year, compared to about 19 of male students. Nearly 29% of white high school students experience bullying at school or electronically in the last year, compared to 19% of Hispanics and 18% of Black high school students. So here we're looking at some data, specifically, at how people identify, also in terms of their sexual identity, also gender, female or male, and also racial identities. So this is important to take a look at. If we look here, these numbers are considerably impactful, especially when we look at the students that identified as lesbian, gay, or bisexual is 40%, right? So it's significantly higher, but it's good to keep that in mind just as some thought for our minds, right? So when we're looking at kind of like who's getting bullied, bullying is a frequent discipline problem. Nearly 14 of public schools report that bullying is a discipline problem occurring daily or at least once a week. Reports of bullying are highest in middle school, 28%, followed by high schools, 60%, combined schools, 12%, and primary schools, 9%. Reports of cyberbullying are highest in middle schools, 33%, followed by high school, 30%, combined schools, 20%, and primary schools, 5%. So we're looking at the data. It appears, of course, that is lower when they're in primary school, then it escalates when they go into the middle schools, and then in high school it continues. And it is the highest in middle schools when it comes to the report of actual bullying and the cyberbullying. So we just need to be mindful, right? When are these problems starting? It looks like we're looking at they started when they're young, right? And they have access to tabloids, they have access to phones, so we just need to make sure that we're monitoring our kids' social media usage as well. 1 in 5 students in high schools report being bullied at school in the last year. More than 1 in 6 high school students report being cyberbullying in the last year. This was last reviewed September 28, 2023, last year. And the source is the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, Division of Violence Prevention, the CDC. So this is data that is being reported. So this is happening. So it's a prevalent problem. So what are the consequences? Bullying can result in physical injury and social and emotional distress, self-harm, and even death. It also increases the risk for depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, lower academic achievement, and dropping out of school. Youth who bully others are at increased risks for substance misuse, academic problems, and experiences violent later in adolescence and adulthood. Youth who bully others and are bullied themselves suffer the most serious consequences and are at the greatest risk for mental and behavioral problems. So, bullying does have a lot of repercussions in a youth's life, from physical distress to social, emotional, there's self harm, and even death. So, this is a very serious problem. Here's information, right? So, also from the CDC, how do we prevent this? We want to first promote environments that support healthy development, like early childhood home visitations, parenting skills, and family relationships programs. Just as Guiding Good Choices, we're teaching our first class in Summit County in collaboration with the Summit County Department of Health. We're teaching it in Spanish. They also host classes in English. Also, Wasatch County, we plan to teach a class in Spanish in September, and Wasatch County Department of Health also teaches Guiding Good Choices and the Love and Logic curriculum, which are great parenting curriculums that give that information to the parents, creating those protective factors, right? We want to provide quality education in early life, preschool enrichment with family engagement, such a great thing. Those preschool programs, such as there's an amazing program by Holy Cross Ministries. We want to strengthen youth skills. Universal school-based programs connect youth to caring adults and activities. There's mentoring programs, after-school programs. So we just want to make sure these youth do have support systems and have trusted adults in their life. We want to create protective community environments, modify the physical and social environment, reduce exposure to community level risks, street outreach and community norm change. So we just want to create strong communities. We want the youth to feel comfortable in their neighborhoods and they have a good attachment to where they live at, right? They feel welcome, they feel loved, they feel accepted, they feel seen. We want to intervene to lessen harms and prevent future risks. Treatment to lessen harms of violence exposures, treatment to prevent problem behavior, and further involvement in violence, hospital community partnerships. So, all of these are ways that we can prevent bullying. And this is prevention work, right? And by doing this, we are going to create communities that are safe there, and we're going to see less violence and a lot of things will change in our communities. How can we prevent bullying? Bullying is preventable, just as violence is preventable, right? There are many factors that may increase or decrease the risk of perpetrating or experiencing bullying. To prevent bullying, we must understand and address the factors that put people at risk for or protect them from violence. CDC developed the Youth Violence Prevention Resource to help communities take advantage of the best available evidence to prevent youth violence. These resources are also available in Spanish and can be used as a tool in efforts to impact individual behaviors as well as their relationship, family, school, community, and societal risks and protective factors for violence. So, just by preventing bullying, we're also preventing other forms of violence. Everything is connected. Prevention is amazing, and when we look at this curriculum and all the data, you're gonna have access to this presentation, and you will be able to click that all of the links and dive in and look at more of the science behind it and what can we do at those levels of like families, schools, and communities. So this is very exciting that this is preventable and we're gonna take action. These approaches in the research, particular universal school-based programs that strengthen youth skills and modify the physical and societal environments, had been chosen to reduce violence and bullying or key risk factors. Different types of violence are connected and often share root causes. Bullying is linked to other forms of violence through shared risks and protective factors. Addressing and preventing one form of violence may have an impact on preventing other forms of violence. So that was kind of what I was sharing before. This may have an impact. So by doing this work, let's say if a parent takes a parenting class, right? Like Guiding Good Choices, they reinforce those family relationships, right? And a youth that feels that has good parents, right, that have those skills, is more likely that they're gonna reach out to their parents if something bad happens, right? And they're gonna ask for help. and they're going to feel connected to their community. And by doing that, it's less likely that that youth is going to be a bully. Or if they happen to be bullied, they're going to take action and talk to someone, or stop the behavior because they're going to have those tools. They're going to have those higher protective factors. Is there a difference between sexual harassment and bullying? This is a question that is often asked. Bullying in any severe physical or verbal act that occurs one or more times towards a student that causes the student to feel fearful, that has a negative impact on the student's physical or mental health, or otherwise interferes with the student's ability to fully and safely participate in the school activities. Some forms of bullying are not sexual in nature, so they're not considered sexual harassment. However, sexual harassment is always considered to be bullying. Recall that some forms of cyberbullying, such as sexual offensive posts on social network sites, are forms of sexual harassment. So we just want to be aware of that, right? Like the fine line between like what's sexual harassment and what is bullying, especially when it comes to cyberbullying. There's a lot of sexually offensive posts, a lot of name calling, right? So we just want to be aware of that. So what do we do, right? How can we be a bystander? And what do we do if we witness bullying? An engagement standard is someone who intervenes safely before, during, or after a situation when they see or hear behaviors that are threatening, harassing, or violent. Number one, we take action to safely redirect the situation and reassure the victim that they're not to blame for the bullying. Number two, we remain calm, speak firmly to the bully and in a respectful, direct, and honest way that their words and actions are not okay. Three, help the victim leave quickly. Four, focus on the needs of the victim. Reassure them that it's not their fault and offer your support to help them report the harassment to the school or others authorities in charge. And I know, for example, for the Park City School District, and I believe also for Wasatch School District, there's the Safe UT app where people can make anonymous reports as well. But we want to make sure that action is taken, right? And a lot of what happens is that there's the diffusion of responsibility. That's why sometimes people don't act. But if you're seeing something, say something or do something. And if you're not able to intervene yourself, delegate. Find someone that has power that is able to help the victim. We just want to make sure that we speak up and do something about it, right? There's different ways. We can be direct. We can be like, hey, that is not okay. You need to stop that behavior. We can create a distraction and make sure that we are helping the victim. We can delegate, then find a teacher, a counselor, or a peace officer in our school. We want to document, but make sure that the person is getting help before you start documenting or recording the incident. And we never post these recordings online we don't repost it because it's not consensual. That is not okay. If we make a recording, we ask the victim, hey, will you like this recording? And if they say yes, we give them the recording. And then we delete it from our phone and we don't post it in social media. We delay. Delaying will be like, let's say if you were not able to help the person during the bullying, but you heard about it later, you can check in with them and be like, hey, I heard what happened. Is there any way that I can help you? Would you like to go and grab some tea or coffee just to be supported after the incident? Because it can be very traumatic to be bullying, of course, right? And we just want to make sure that we are supported. If you are being bullied, number one, it's not your fault, and you can get help to make it stop. Reach out to a friend as soon as possible, a school counselor or a trusted adult for immediate safety and support. Stop Bullying Hotline. There's a phone number right here. And there's also the Department of Health of Human Services, and this is hosted by them, and they're available 24/7. You can reach out for help to Peace House as well. We don't specialize in bullying, but we can always refer you. We just want to make sure that you reach out for help. You're not alone. There's also other resources available, and we will happily put them in our YouTube post. Any questions? If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Here are more resources: the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the National Centers for Victims Crime, the National Dating Abuse Helpline, the Peace House Helpline, 1-800-647-9161, breakthecycle.org, You can chat there. Love is Respect. Love is Respect is an amazing resource too, for especially for the youth. You can text Love is, and then someone will chat with you. Thank you for attending. Our next training is on Positive Relationship Norms presentation this April 10th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Please join us. We would love to have you. We're also teaching this same presentation next week on Wednesday, March 20th in Spanish at 5 p.m. You can join us virtually. We will also be posting it on YouTube as well. And feel free to give us feedback. We would love to have your feedback. We are always looking at ways to improve. You can scan this QR code and provide feedback to us. And here's my information. My name is Emma Ceballos. I'm the Director of Prevention and Education at Peace House. This is my email, emma@peacehouse.org. That's my phone. Feel free to reach out if you would like a presentation. We offer them in English and Spanish. And we will have very exciting events coming up in April 2024 for Sexual Assault Awareness Month and also for Family Strengthening Month. We will have our event Keeping Kids Safe on April 20th. That is a Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. in Heber. We're very excited. It's going to be at the Timpanogos Middle School. We will have a kids activity. Kim's Cold-Blooded Creatures will be there with 23 reptiles teaching a class. We will offer catering lunch from Quesabirrias, a restaurant in Heber. And we're looking forward to have the community there. Everyone in Summit and Wasatch County is invited. We will have a workshop for the youth where we will cover our curriculums that we teach in Wasatch and Summit about child abuse prevention for the parents and the students. And then after that, we will have the students do the activity with Kim's to look at and learn about the reptiles. And then we will be teaching the parents about mandatory reporting, what is child abuse, what to do if your children discloses that they're being abused, what is acceptable when it comes to discipline. Yes, and we will also have our partner from the Children's Justice Center, Mackenzie Gardner. She's the forensic interviewer, and we're just very excited. It's going to be an amazing event. We're looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.